Okay. Good evening and thank you for being here. Welcome to the December 10th meeting of the JEDO Board. I'll call this meeting to order. If you will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Please call the roll.
Okay, Mayor Padilla,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Kell,
Here.
Board Members Banks,
Here.
Duncan,
Here.
Rippon,
Here.
Cook,
Here.
and Mays. All right, and non-voting members, Councilmember Hiller,
Here.
Valdivia Acala, Ortiz, Miller, Dobler, and Hofer. So we have 6 voting members present with Commissioner Mays absent, and we have non-voting member Hiller present.
Okay, thank you. Move on to our action items, Madam Clerk.
The first item is approval of the September 10, 2025 JEDO Board meeting minutes.
Is there
I'll make a motion to approve.
motion to approve by Commissioner Cook? Second by Councilman Kell. How are we going to vote this
We
evening?
have to do roll call.
Okay, roll call.
Board members Padilla,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Banks,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Rippon,
Yes.
and Cook.
Yes.
All right, we have 6 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. Second action item, 4B.
B is approval of the 2024 Go Topeka audit and the 2024 JEDO audit.
Is there a motion from a board member? Make a motion to approve, or do we have a presentation with this?
Yes,
Okay, well, let's have the presentation then.
Okay.
My bad.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm not sure if I'm on or not. Yep, I think I am. All right, my name is Cynthia Darding, and I was the partner in charge of the GO for fiscal year 2024, and I'm pleased to report the results of that audit tonight. I'm also joined by my colleague Emily Sheldon, and she will be presenting the JEDO report tonight. So having said that, I believe ahead of time you were all provided 2 documents in regards to the Go Topeka audit. My presentation will be focusing on the report to the Board of Directors, which is the smaller document of the 2, and contains a summary of all of the required communications for Go Topeka's audit. And so I'm going to start there tonight on page 1, if you have a paper copy in front of you. That's where I'm going to start tonight. And I'm going to start by talking about our responsibilities as the independent auditors of Go Topeka. Our responsibility was to perform an audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. Those standards require that we plan and perform our audit to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements provided to us at the beginning of the audit are not materially misstated. We also assess the accounting policies and practices used by management, as well as any significant estimates present in the financial statements. The ultimate goal of every audit is to render an opinion on the financial statements, and I'm pleased to report that we rendered an unmodified opinion on Go Topeka's financial statements for fiscal year 24. Moving along in the accounting policies and practices area on that same page 1, under the first section, if we had noted that management had selected any alternative accounting practice, we would be required to bring that to your attention. And I'm pleased to report that there are no items in that area to talk about tonight. The next area, the adoption of or change in accounting policies. This section is usually driven by a new accounting policy or accounting or auditing standard, and that usually drives changes in accounting policies or adoption of new policies. There were no changes or adoption of new policies in fiscal year 24. The next 2 sections, the significant accounting policies in controversial or emerging areas or significant unusual transactions. If I had items in those areas to bring to your attention tonight, I would be required to do so, and I'm pleased to report there are no items in those areas to talk about tonight. At the beginning of my presentation, I also referred to estimates, and we are required to report to you any significant estimate present in the financial statements. Significant estimates are inherent in all accrual financial statements, and there was one significant estimate in Topeka's audit, and it's sitting on page 4 of that same document, or page 5, I'm sorry, of that same document. That significant estimate is similar to last year. It's in regards to the fair value of investments. Inherently, fair value is an estimate, and our responsibility as the independent auditor is to assess the policy used for that estimate, as well as management's process for creating that estimate, and then conclude as to whether or not that estimate is reasonable, which we did conclude it was reasonable for fiscal year '24. All right, going back to page 2 again, audit adjustments. I mentioned at the beginning of my audit that we're given a trial balance at the beginning of the audit, and if there are audit adjustments made to that trial balance, we're required to bring those to your attention, and I'm pleased to report there were no audit adjustments for Topeka for fiscal year '24. Same goes for the next section, uncorrected misstatements. That's just a long term for journal entries that have been passed on or we have chosen not to make. There were no uncorrected misstatements in fiscal year '24. Just some other observations about our audit process. If we had had any disagreements with management, any consultations with other accountants, any significant issues discussed with management, any significant difficulties encountered in performing the audit, or we had significant matters that required consultation outside of our firm, we would be required to report those to you today, and I'm pleased to report there are no items in those areas to report tonight. Shared responsibility for independence. I'm not going to go through this in detail. Independence is required of us. This is not new to practice, but there is a heavier emphasis on independence, and this section simply talks about the responsibilities of both us as the auditor and Topeka as the auditee, and the responsibilities of both of us in order to maintain that independence. The last item I want to talk about tonight is a significant written communication called the Management's Representation Letter. It is also included in this packet behind page 5. This letter puts into writing matters that management is required to represent back to us as the independent auditor. And when they sign this letter, it's an indication to us that if the financial statements are ready to go from draft to final form. We present this to the governing board of Topeka because we feel that this is a necessary step for understanding the financial statements, which also helps fulfill the fiduciary responsibilities surrounding the financial statements for a board member. All right. Before I conclude my presentation, I wanted to check to see if there's any questions.
Okay, any questions from the board?
All right.
Seeing none.
Okay, well, in conclusion, I want to thank Topeka's management who helped us with the audit. It was very smooth and transparent, and like I said, we just want to give them that shout out tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie.
Good evening. Again, my name is Emily Sheldon. I'm a principal with BT & Co., and I'm going to present the results of the Joint Economic Development Organization's fiscal year 2024 financial statement audit. Along with the financial statements, just like with Topeka, we provided a report to the Board of Directors, and that letter summarizes the matters that I'm going to be discussing this evening. I'll spare you and skip over some of those items that were the same between both reports. We do address our responsibility to perform a financial statement audit in accordance with specific standards, those that Cynthia had covered, and the audit procedures did include the same procedures that were performed under Topeka's audit. I am pleased to report that as a result of our audit, we determined that the fiscal year 2024 financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles, and we have issued an unmodified audit opinion, which is the best kind of opinion that JEDO can receive. Into the letter, we would bring to your attention any significant alternative adopted, changed or controversial accounting policies, or any significant policies in emerging areas or unusual transactions, and there were none identified for the fiscal year 2024 audit. There are also no adjusting journal entries or uncorrected misstatements identified as a result of our audit. We would like to inform you that during our audit, JEDO's team was transparent with our team members. We encountered no disagreements, significant issues, or difficulties in performing the audit, or items that required JEDO's management or our use of accounting consultants. Finally, just as with Go Topeka's audit, we did include a copy of management's representation letter. And again, that letter puts into writing matters that are required by our standards to be represented to us by JEDO's management. And we provide that letter to you because we believe it will help you as a governing body better understand JEDO's representations about its financial statements. Again, the achievement of an excellent audit result such as JEDO's is a testament to both JEDO's preparedness for the audit as well as maintaining good processes and controls in place throughout the entire year. As such, we'd like to thank Josh McInerney and Jennifer Sauer and the teams at the City of Topeka and Shawnee County for their assistance with the audit. With that, that concludes my portion of the presentation. If there are any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Emily? Seeing none, thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you. Okay, we've received their report on action item B. Is there a motion from a board member? Motion to approve by? Second. Okay, Deputy Mayor Kell and second by Councilman Banks. We'll take a vote.
Board members Padilla,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Banks,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Rippon,
Yes.
Cook.
Yes.
All right, we have 6 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. Action item 4C, Madam Clerk.
C is approval of incentive funding for Project Team.
Hello, can I move this? Okay. Good evening. Tonight we do have 2 projects that we will be asking for funding approval on. Both of these projects follow the incentive guidelines that were set by the Go Topeka Board and approved by the Go Topeka Board last week. Just a reminder that all incentives are paid out over a 5-year period if they meet their performance that is required under the contract. These projects are kept under a code name to maintain confidentiality of the company until final approval and we announce the company. So the first one that we have tonight is Project Team. This is an existing food manufacturing company in Shawnee County. They're investing $20.5 million in both renovations and adding additional square footage to their existing facility to continue their goal of being the employer of choice in Topeka and Shawnee County. So at this time, they are not adding new jobs, but they are currently employing over 380 individuals with an average salary of about $74,000. And as we see with many of our manufacturing facilities aging, we do want to support and encourage their investment to their facilities with required industry updates. The ROI for this project is 30%, and over the next 10 years, the economic impact is $30.9 million. And today we are asking for a motion to approve the incentive funding of $383,000.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. Is there a motion from the board on this item?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Duncan,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. We're ready to vote.
Board members Padilla,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Banks,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Rippon,
Yes.
and Cook.
Yes.
All right, we have 6 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Action item 4D, Ashley.
D is approval of incentive funding for Project Vulcan.
Okay, this is another existing business in Topeka. They are an existing manufacturing company. Their plans are to invest $1.6 million in real property and equipment at their current facility. They plan to have 19 jobs hired over the next 5 years with salaries ranging from $50,000 to $80,000. The ROI for this project is 415% with the economic impact over the next 10 years of $71 million. Tonight, we're asking for a motion to approve the incentive funding of $174,000.
Okay, we've heard the request is read. Is there a motion from the board? Move to approve by Deputy Mayor Cal.
I'll second.
Was that a second or?
I second.
Okay, second by Bill, Commissioner Rippon.
That doesn't count.
Okay,
Board members Padilla,
yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Banks,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Rippon,
Yes.
and Cook.
Yes.
All right, we have 6 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. Action item 4E, Madam Clerk.
E is approval of the 2026 Go Topeka budget and business plan.
Hello, my name is Josh Patterson. I'm the CFO at Topeka. I've prepared a presentation for you. I'm going to go over the highlights. I want to appreciate those of you who met with us in person to go over the budget in detail. I think you'll see from the items in your packet and the slides that we took some of your suggestions about presentation into account. So I'm going to hit the high points, and if you have any questions, please stop and let me know. All right, so I'm going to go through in the same order as the table in the budget narrative that has the different categories listed out. First one on that is business attraction and retention. We're seeing a small increase in programming there, mainly due to some additional support for aviation development and a regional FAM tour that's planned for next year. And we're seeing a small decrease in incentives. It's nothing to be concerned about. Those ebb and flow over time as a lot of those are front-loaded for the capital investments. Next is small business innovation and entrepreneurship. We're seeing a pretty big increase there in programming. That is related to the Link Innovation Labs. That is operational support. It's important to note that is not the total operational cost of Link Innovation Labs because we expect private revenue and sublessees to make up most of the difference. And then incentives for small businesses are flat to 2025. On economic mobility, we've got a decrease in programming. That is due to some partnerships that we're forming with local organizations to provide some of the programming that was previously done by Topeka directly. And some of those costs have been reclassified as they're showing up in the incentive line because we're trying to be more intentional about the difference between a grant and an incentive for your reporting. And then we also are seeing a very minor change in the economic mobility incentives. And you'll note from the total on the table, we are continuing to use some of the carry forward that has been set aside for the 10% in the interlocal agreement. This is going to use approximately $673,000 of that. On talent initiatives, we don't have any major changes, a small decrease in programming and a small increase in Choose Topeka expenses. Those Choose Topeka expenses are coming out of the bucket of funds that was already approved for Choose Topeka 2.0. This is just a timing difference versus 2025. All right, and then other direct programming, we've got general economic development activities. These are things that don't fit into one of those other categories. The major change here, you're seeing an increase due to a website project that we have planned for next year to update and overhaul the Topeka site and then and related sites. On the salaries and benefits, you're seeing a small increase versus 2025. That's due to the annual cost of living adjustments we do for staff. And then we also are expecting some benefit costs to go up, especially insurance costs. And then on marketing communication services, we're flat to 2025. All right, and then on the G&A categories, we've got a decrease in administrative salaries. There was a reduction in headcount at Topeka by 1 FTE, and then some rearranging of duties, and the net result there was a decrease in administrative salaries. We also are seeing no major changes on finance, admin, and HR services that Topeka purchases from Greater Topeka Partnership. We have a major increase in depreciation. That is because of the Link Innovations build-out. So we're going to see that for the next 10 years to coincide with the lease. And then we are seeing a major decrease in other G&A expenses. The occupancy costs from Innovation Center 1.0 have sunset, and so there's a decrease from last year. So in total, we're seeing total direct programming of $5.9 million, which is flat to 2025. Total G&A increased by $2 million to $1.2 million total, or $0.2 million to $1.2 total. That's primarily due to those increased depreciation expenses I mentioned. And so we're seeing total expenditures for Topeka for 2026 of $7.2 million. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board for Josh? Check again, seeing none. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Is, okay. Is there a motion from the board to approve that presentation, the budget?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Banks. I'll second this motion. Ready to vote?
Okay, board members Padilla,
Yes?
Kale,
Yes.
Banks,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Rippon,
Yes.
and Cook.
Yes.
All right, we have 6 yes, the motion carries.
Okay. Action item 4F, Madam Clerk.
F is approval of the 2025 to 2026 cash carry forward agreement in the amount of $13,600,000.
Jen?
Hello, that is also me. All right, so in your packets, you've got a number of 13.6 million, and then I've shown the table on the slides as well, how that money is committed in the future. Just a quick reminder, this carry forward amount is an estimate because the year is not over when we produce the number. And a change for this year is we had such a large capital expenditure for the Innovation Lab, which is continuing until that build-out's finished in January. And so that cash is gone, but you have not seen the expense recorded on Topeka's books yet. And so we had to make an adjustment to that starting number to reduce it by our fixed assets because there's cash that's gone out the door, but it's not recognized as JEDO revenue yet. So that's how we got to the 13.6 million number. Of that, 1.5 million is going to be spent in addition to the 5 million that Topeka receives next year, as you saw in the budget that you just approved. We also will have 800,000 still left in the 10% carry forward amount. And then we have 7.7 million of incentives committed. Those are signed contracts over the next 10 years. And then we have money set aside for rent for the Innovation Center as approved in that project back in December of 2024. And so that leaves us with about 3 million to allocate for future investment.
Okay. Any questions for Josh on this item?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner
Josh.
Cook?
of this $3 million that is really the uncommitted funds, are you having any concern with that amount? Is it increased from last year or prior years? Is it consistent with what we've seen in the past?
It's a little smaller than we've seen in past years. The Innovation Center project was a big one-time expense. That's reduced that amount. I would expect it to stay pretty consistent or grow, but it all depends on how many incentives are approved and how big those incentives are. So if there was a major project that came down the pipeline, I could see that 3 million going pretty quick.
I mean, if we were to look at the presentation which you just gave regarding the budget for next year, we have $2,720,797 that's allocated to business attraction retention.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we were to have a major corporation, Nike decides that they're going to have a new facility in Topeka, Kansas, realistically, between the 2.7 we've got and the 3 million remaining, we're really looking at about 5 million that's available for immediate business attraction.
Yeah, I would say adding that 2.7 in there is maybe not proper to do in that case because those are committed to other incentives that we've already signed for.
Okay.
So it really is the 3 million that's kind of unspoken for.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you would have next year's budgeted funds
Mhm.
to also add on to the 3 million.
Correct, yeah, and incentives are not all paid out up front. So if a large project like that were to come to fruition, we would just need to be careful about how we structure the incentive payouts over time.
Right.
Thank you for the question. Is there a motion to approve?
To approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Duncan. Second by Councilman Banks.
Thank you.
Ready to vote?
Board members Padilla,
Yes.
Kell,
Yes.
Banks,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Rippon,
Yes.
and Cook.
Yes.
All right, we have 6 yes, the motion carries.
Okay. Action item 4G, Madam Clerk.
G is approval of a resolution granting a waiver for the residency requirement provision outlined in Section 4B of JEDO Service Contract No. 2019-01.
Okay, I'll ask Nick Jefferson to speak to this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As stated, the last action item before you is a resolution granting a waiver to the residency requirement found in Section 4B of the agreement between Go Topeka and JEDO. That section has a residency requirement for Go Topeka employees unless the affected employee obtains a waiver, and a waiver is being requested tonight for a certain individual, and it's stated in your resolution before you.
Any questions for Nick? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook,
Second.
second by Councilman Duncan. We're ready to vote?
Board members Padilla,
Yes?
Kale,
Yes.
Banks,
Yes.
Duncan,
Yes.
Rippon,
Yes.
and Cook.
Yes.
All right, we have 6 yes, the motion carries.
Okay, thank you all. Move on to agenda item 5, presentations. Madam Clerk?
A is 2025 Growth Organization of Topeka Third Quarter Report.
Rhiannon? Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to get to finally get up here. I've got an awesome team, so they do all the heavy lifting apparently. Yeah, so good evening. I want to just kind of run through a dashboard that I think you're used to seeing, but at the end, I'll just kind of hit some highlights. I want to be able to talk through some of the things that I'm excited about being new in the position and looking forward into 2026. So just to speak to a few of these numbers, so all of this data is through Q3 of 2025. So roughly $76 million in capital investment that's hit so far this year, and of that 145 new jobs and 496 retained jobs. This question came up the other day while we were talking to the Shawnee County delegation over at the legislature, and the conversation came up asking about business attraction and business retention. And I think Ashley really spoke to that when she was presenting the projects that she did tonight to you all, talking about the importance of supporting the local businesses that we have and helping continue to help them grow their workforce base and to be able to train their employees and continue to reinvest in the property that they've invested in here in Topeka and Shawnee County. So I will say the majority of the projects that we've been seeing right now are business retention, but I think our local businesses is probably one of our strongest assets. So exciting to see that they're continuing to stay and grow here. Some of the other things that we've been talking about as a real focus, Josh touched on some of this with the business retention and expansion funds that have increased. So really targeting a lot of very intentional efforts that'll be happening at the Topeka Regional Airport this year. So Department of Commerce has really bolstered up their support and providing another employee that's going to be coming in to help Salina, Wichita, and Topeka specifically get connected to developers that are in aviation and aerospace, whether that's MROs, hangar space. And so getting to spend some time connecting with them and understanding how we can bring those folks to Topeka to help entertain them, show them what we have here, what a great asset we have in our community. As a part of that, we're going to be helping support paying for a compatible use study. So really what that study will do is it'll look at the area around the airport just to ensure future land use is done responsibly and doesn't endanger any of the future development or any of the companies that may want to go into space at the airfield. So just trying to do some intentional planning for future growth. And then on top of that, another thing that we have planned for 2026 in partnership with Department of Commerce is a familiarization tour. So be ready to hear more about that because we'll be hoping that you'll join us while we welcome guests from outside of our community to come here and get to talk about Topeka and Shawnee County and brag about ourselves a little bit. So looking forward to that. Other than that, I think I'm probably going to step on other people's conversations if I share too much about the exciting things, but Stephanie's got some great stuff coming up with Link. Hopefully the next time that we see you all, I mean, it'll be sad for me, but hopefully half of my team will be located inside that space. But I'll be able to live with that just to see that project get finished. So a lot of hard work going on there. And then just some really exciting new workforce partnership programs that are coming together. That's something that we're constantly hearing is trying to understand how we can help continue to connect local talent to workforce training that can be passed through to our jobs, seeing more employees coming through. So Trina and team have been working really hard on that, and they've got some exciting stuff to share with you too. So at the end, I'll be happy to answer questions, but if not, I'll kick it over to Stephanie and let her keep talking to you more about Link.
Thank you, Rhiannon.
All right, good evening, everyone. Stephanie Moran, Senior Vice President of Innovation for Go Topeka. As Rihanna mentioned, I'm going to give you a quick update on Link progress. So timeline to ribbon cutting, we are looking at the first week of February. So as we're coming down the home stretch here on building out Link, we are finalizing connections for our HVAC, heating, cooling systems. We had a few parts that were actually delayed in delivery, so we're finalizing getting that set up, getting heat into the building. So things are progressing. The teams are working hard day and night over there. We've actually have floor crews in at night working on polishing, cleaning up the concrete floors, while we have our day crews working on installing ceilings, painting walls, and our casework for the labs actually just arrived last week, so they're starting to install casework in the labs and working on the link ceiling in the entryway. So a lot of great things are going on. Carpet install, draperies in the pitch room. Our furniture delivery and installation will be early to mid-January. And then doors, AT&T, all of our Wi-Fi internet is going on as well by end of the year, and working on the exterior signage. So a lot of great things. We're on target for substantial completion by mid-January, get our certificate of occupancy, final punch list, and like I said, look for a save the date coming soon for ribbon cutting, looking for February week 1. So very excited about that. Tenants, I'm very excited to announce that we have signed coffee shop tenant Sparrow Coffee Co. is going to be opening their second location in Link Innovation Labs. Very excited for this local business who's doing well up in North Topeka to open their second location. Their team is very excited to be part of the project. We also have signed office tenant Plug and Play, and office tenant number 2 is Washburn Small Business Development Center. So we have final signed leases with all 3 of those and are continuing to work on other leases. We do have conversations with lab tenants in place with former Plug and Play cohort startups that have been through that program, continuing to work with them as we are getting further down the pipeline on that lab build out. Those conversations are starting to heat up as we're starting to see that progress. So very excited, continuing to move on that front. We've had some great movement on sponsors and memberships as well. I do have a pitch room sponsor that is on a pending contract. I can't announce who that is yet, but we've got the pending contract out on that, so that'll be a very exciting addition to the space. Our lab equipment sponsor, Kansas State University. We've also had KBS Constructors come in as our coffee shop sponsor, so we're very excited for that. They've been a very strong partner in this project and have a real strong belief in the innovation ecosystem here in Topeka and want to support all the things that are going on there. We also have an advocate partner with Bartlett and West, and then our first corporate member is Endeavor Private Wealth. So continuing to move, things are keeping me very busy at the moment, but that's exciting news. So continuing to move down those paths. And then programming. We have actually signed an additional contract with Plug and Play to provide programming support. They will continue to do the animal health accelerator programs that they've been doing for the last 5 years, but we have also contracted with them to provide additional programming to support local startups, innovators, and entrepreneurs. So they will be, since they're housed in the facility, they're going to be helping to put some of those events on. We are looking at an AI event in first quarter. We're also looking for some engagement with our youth and looking at a mad scientist event during March Madness. So look for some fun things to come there. As Rhiannon mentioned, our small business and entrepreneurship team will be moving into Link. So all the small business entrepreneurship programming will move into that space as well. So all of our small business council trainings that we hold, roundtables, meet an expert, all of those types of things, and then all of the trainings that are happening with Small Business Development Center as well will move into that space. So we've got a lot of things going on. We have just started our platform Office R&D. That will be the calendar management system and the booking platform for Link. So the team is setting that up. We're working with our Josh and his team so that we can also invoice out of that system for all of the bookings and things that take place at Link. So excited for that. That should be online here in the next couple of weeks. And then we're also planning an event planner sneak peek in early January. So getting those coordinators, event planners at companies throughout the community to come have a sneak peek at the space so that they can see what spaces are available for rent for different board meetings, trainings, networking events, those types of things that can be utilized in the space. So really a lot of things going on as we head into the home stretch here, but excited. If any of you want to take a quick sneak peek at tour, let me know. I'm happy to take you guys through the facility. There's a lot of exciting things going on. And happy to stand for any additional questions.
Questions? Thank you for the update, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
It's exciting. I might take you up on that tour.
Absolutely, let me know.
Last time. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hello, again. So just wanted to I have a pretty quick update, just the active project pipeline that we have. These are for new business attraction. As you can see, we have 27 in the pipeline right now. Usually that's really strongly led by manufacturing, but we are being inundated with the data center RFPs coming through. I would say half of those 9 have come from the state of Kansas and the Department of Commerce, and the other half is coming directly from Evergy. So developers, end users are going straight to the source to find out where the power is and where the land is, and so we are in active communication and conversations with them. So just wanted to let you all know that, you know, we're having more and more conversations around these projects that are coming. I know it's probably kind of scary because it's a new industry that is really booming, but it really isn't going anywhere. We're constantly working with staying knowledgeable about the growing industry and really how we can put resources to better educate ourselves as well as our Go Topeka board and you all. So be on the lookout for that. One additional thing that I did want to add, just with the conversations with new business attraction and even BRE, a lot of the conversations from peers in my industry or in the industry, sure, companies want to know about incentives, sure, they want to know about the land and utility costs and all of that, but a lot of conversation is really starting being active about what we're doing for the workforce and what we're doing to prepare our workforce younger and younger. And so that makes me really excited about what Trina's going to share next in the FAME program, because it is a nationwide program, and I'm really excited to see it here because that's just one more thing in our toolbox that I can take when I'm talking to site selectors or, you know, anybody that's looking to grow their company. So I'll pass it along to Trina, unless there's any questions about the pipeline.
Any questions? Thank you, Ashley.
Hello, I feel like I'm getting built up a little bit. So back in May, at the May meeting, I did a soft introduction of the FAME program. So I wanted to give an update on where we are with the progression of that. Just as a reminder, FAME stands for the Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. It is a national program through the National Manufacturing Institute, and every community that starts a FAME chapter, it is set up as a chapter. So it's employer-led, employer-driven. As a chapter, employers pay dues to be a part of this, which is how we set our budget. So although this isn't directly JEDO funds that are funding this program, I think it's highly important for you all to know about this happening in our community. So what is Top City FAME? This is a 2-year degree program, associate's degree program, connecting students with employer partners who are sponsoring them through the program. They'll receive paid work experience while taking classes at Washburn Tech. When I say sponsoring employers, I'm pleased to announce that we currently have 9 sponsoring employers who are part of the Top City FAME chapter. You see them all on the screen right now. One that is kind of far away from us is Panasonic Energy. You see that. They are actually sending existing employees through the program, so they are not currently planning to recruit students from our area to their facility. They're sending existing employees through. I think it's important to mention. Our supporting partners, these are partners that have been involved from the very beginning in our chapter establishment, who are really playing an active role in helping with student recruitment. Kansas Workforce One,
Many of you are probably familiar with them. It's our local workforce board. They receive those federal and state funds that are designated for workforce development. They have committed to helping assist with tuition costs for students who may need additional need for that. Jobs for America's Graduates, a great partner. They're in all of our local high schools. Washburn Tech is our educational partner. And then TCALC and the Seaman High School have been heavily involved as well in all of our recruitment. So what this program is, basically we are taking the industrial maintenance program at Washburn Tech and we're building on that to make it to FAME standards. So they already have their set curriculum. There are a few classes that may need to be added into the current curriculum to bring it to FAME standards. They also really have a heavy focus on the manufacturing core exercises, which is what you see under the core skills. And that's just a short list. It's actually a very long list of things that they're covering. And then the thing that I love about this program that really sets it apart is there is a whole professional development program or part of this. There's a heavy focus on attendance, communication, conflict management, your professional skills like public speaking, leadership. The ultimate goal when students graduate from this program is that they are ready to be leaders in their industry. I did mention this as industrial maintenance. So if you don't know what that is, basically these kids are learning how to go in and fix the machines when something stops working. So there are, like mentioned under the technical skills, electronics, robotics, some welding, PLCs, troubleshooting, all those sorts of things. And it's a highly sought after position and could be very lucrative as they continue to grow in their careers. So Top City FAME is a 5-semester dual track program. I mentioned that they will be working part-time for their sponsoring employer while going to school 2 days a week. And it's 5 semesters, so it does go fall and spring like a traditional school year, but then the following summer, they'll still attend their classes, and then the fall and spring of the next year. We'll be launching our first cohort in the fall of '26. So this kind of reiterates some of that, attending school Monday and Tuesday, working Wednesday through Friday for 8 to 10 hours per day. So what they're learning in the classroom, they're actually putting into practice hands-on in the workplace. Over the 2-year program, the students will gain over 1,800 hours of work experience. This is an associate's degree program. So they will graduate with an associate's degree. It's also going to be set up as a registered apprenticeship program, which they can take anywhere in the United States, but of course we want them to stay here. Many of our employers are writing into their agreements that if they're sponsoring a student through the program and they offer them full-time employment at the end, that they need to stay for at least 2 years with their company. Our companies are really investing in this. They are willing to put in money to help towards the tuition so that the students graduate with zero debt. Of course, we're exploring other options as well, such as scholarships and grants, and then the workforce board, but our employer partners are willing to make that additional investment as well. So, advanced manufacturing, the FAME title for this is Advanced Manufacturing Technician. Just like any industry, manufacturing has continued to advance, lots of technological advances, automation, things like that. So it's important that we are teaching people from a very young age about the manufacturing industry, getting interest in this. As this program expands, we'll be really getting into the middle schools to introduce it as well. So that as we have an aging workforce in manufacturing, we do have young people who are being educated and trained to step into those roles. Our primary recruitment pool is graduating high school seniors. Our application window is open right now. We've had 4 applications so far, and that's with very little promotion of this yet. We're really going to hit it hard after the first of the year. We also have the option for incumbent workers. As mentioned, Panasonic is sending existing employees through. Anyone interested in manufacturing or just need a career change, we will be recruiting to veterans as well. So really it's for everyone, but that's who we're going after. This is our timeline. So Right now, we are getting through our employer agreements and our MOUs. Hope to have all of those signed by the end of this year. On February 3rd, this will be our big launch event, and you all will receive an invitation to that after the first of the year. We want this to be big. We're inviting the community, parents, educators, everyone who wants to come. It'll be a big deal. Our application window closes on March 20th, and then we will launch into company tours and interviews and finalize our selection process by the end of April and make all of our offers at the very beginning of May. And then those students will start their work experience with full-time work in the summer, and then in August jump into their 3-2 work/school schedule. And then there's a QR code that will take you to the Top City Fame page if you are interested. And that's what I have. Any questions?
No, it sounds exciting.
It is very.
I really am pleased that we're part of this, because we've been talking about this for some time, and that's why Washburn initiated yet another location, Washburn Tech North, to come to meet some of this need. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I believe that's all of our presentations, or do we have one more? Okay, good. I'm trying to look at my list, I didn't see one more. Good,
That's okay, I'll keep it quick, I promise.
that's all right.
So, quick update on the small business entrepreneurship programs. Of course, we have our ongoing incentive programs. We just wrapped up Q4 funding approvals. So with that, I'll scroll slowly through the maps so you can check them out, but you guys come to know what to expect with these. So go ahead and check out your areas. But for Q4, we did approve 18 companies, and that covered 29 different projects. So many of them are doing multiple things. Again, our core 4 most used ones would be the equipment, the marketing, the construction renovation paired with architect and design. Those are the most accessible ones for most companies, and the most widely used. So this would include all 4 quarters of our incentives for the year on the map. Of those 29 projects, over 18 companies, that covered $152,000 in approved funds for the last quarter. And with that comes an estimated $746,000 in estimated investment into the community. So the total of their estimated projects. Now, when they actually do get paid out, we get final numbers on that, and so we make adjustments on the back end. But as far as what they are projecting to invest into their projects, that is Q4. In Q3, we did close 16 different projects, so we stay with them until they're complete. We closed those, so that was $109,000 of those reimbursed funds direct back to them. And of those projects, it did equal $757,000 in invested funds into the community. That was a larger number than normal. 400 of that was the Stevenson Company for a major update to their facility, so that they can improve their chutes. Q4 so far, we've closed 10 projects. It does get a little bit slower this time of year, and it'll kick back up in January. Of that was $53,000 in reimbursed grants, and then that equals $124,000 in invested dollars back into the community. Any questions regarding the incentives?
Any question? Seeing none?
And then as far as the additional programming goes, the final quarter of the year is pretty busy in our department. It covers the Global Entrepreneurship Week, which we celebrated here locally about a week ahead of time, the national timeline, because there are lots of regional events and trainings and opportunities that we'd like to go ahead and feed our entrepreneurs and startups into. But for us, we did many events of different types. We had webinars, in-person, luncheons, evening events. These were not all done by us. It was also presented by community partners. So we all worked together to create an agenda of items to support those and different skill building and networking opportunities. During this time, we also launched the Small Business Award campaign. We are accepting nominations, so that can be found on our website. We can also accept self-nominations for those who have businesses and are interested, or you can nominate a business that you feel like is a good fit for one of the many categories. employees. That award ceremony will be in May, so we'll take nominations up until the beginning of the year and then move forward into selecting those finalists. We also launched the Shop Small Guide, so you have that in front of you, along with our Shop Small Bag. These were distributed by our Small Business Council members to businesses all over the city. So we have a few pictures on here. Also during this time, we made a couple media appearances. We were a big part of the Women in Business Conference. So a lot of things were going on in the last couple months in this area, but it just makes it an exciting time of year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, last but certainly not least, I feel privileged that I get to be the person to be here for your very last JEDO meeting, Mayor Padilla. So with the help of my team, and Stephanie had made a connection to Lino Anguiano, who is a youth entrepreneur and a local artist here in Topeka. And so we were able to connect with him and snag a piece of his artwork that you can add to your collection. And just want to thank you. I know that all of you spend a lot of your time in public service and meetings, and so understanding that this is another meeting that you have to participate in, and we hope to keep it eventful and bring you information that makes you feel like the work we're doing is making an impact on the community, and just appreciate all of your support and guidance.
Well, that's very thoughtful. I know Lino, I know his dad, and his work is really impressive. He's only,
Now it's
what,
yours.
18, 19 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe at the end of the meeting, I'll open that up so everybody can get a look at it.
Do it now.
Okay. Is that it? Thank you very much, all of you. I appreciate the consideration. Yeah, I'll go ahead and open it up now. Before we. I know. I want to do it in a positive time before that happens. Just like at Christmas. Oh, wow.
And Mayor, this one is titled New Beginnings. So we thought this was appropriate for your new chapter here, New Beginnings.
This is so beautiful, and my wife and I were just talking this week about the amazing sunsets we've seen here recently, and so this is perfect. It is perfect. Thank you very much. If you could, please make sure I have his contact information.
I will.
And his dad's.
Yes.
I see them occasionally, but not enough to be able to thank them properly for this, but that is a very thoughtful gift, and thank you very much. It really does make me feel good that we continue with the arts and that we have that around us. I think it says a lot about our community. So thank you again. I gotta be careful. Okay. Surprised me. Okay, I think that's all of our presentations. We're on now to public comment. Oh, no, Madam Clerk, reminder for the meeting dates in 26.
Yep, we have 4 meeting dates that are set meeting dates in 26. We have those February 11, May 13, September 9, and December 9 for 2026.
Thank you. I will not make note of any of those dates. Okay, now we'll move on to public comment. We have 2 individuals signed up. The first is Mr. Henry McClure. Henry McClure, Topeka, Kansas. Enjoy your retirement. You know, I like you because you were the only guy that ever let me speak at a JEDO meeting during the meeting, trying to get that hotel torn down. I'll never forget you for that. But also, hey, people have forgotten how this whole thing got started. It was to buy land, get it shovel ready, and what you guys have turned into is a bank. You've turned into a bank for the Greater Topeka Partnership and the Chamber of Commerce. But also, I came down here to remind you, there are a lot of citizens that want a citizens commission, where you consolidate the government. I just helped my daughter move to Legends. And you can sit on her couch and you can look out and you can see the top of the stadium for NASCAR. And then she's sitting there by all that retail. And you know that Wyandotte County has smaller population than Shawnee, but what it has is a consolidated government. This is the closest thing we have had to a consolidated government, right here. You've had 100 meetings since you've spent $125 million. And you know, some of us want fresh water. Think about the day you guys figured out that lead pipes were a bad deal. You could have been taking money and putting it into fixing infrastructure. You know, I wasn't going to come down tonight and just live my life and have a good time and go look at paintings, have an art gallery. But when I found out that Jimbo's thing got pulled from Lawrence Bay, man, the guy sitting right next to you the other day, he was at city council saying 3 reasons why the guy didn't even qualify to be on the agenda. I mean, when's this going to matter? When is this stuff really going to matter? You know, the fellow over here said something about, the carryover money. We ought to be putting that money into the road. These guys should be broke. Here's the thing. Everything they got out, everything they talked about, that's great. It's all good stuff. But let the Chamber of Commerce do it themselves. The taxpayers shouldn't be funding this bank. You just given $9.5 million to Link? Are you kidding me? The guy can walk out today and borrow $4 or $5 million on it. You're just putting money back into the pockets of the elites. And you know, you're just stepping on us little people. A minute. That's 3 minutes of my life I'll never get back. You know, the longer I live in this town, it's fun to find out there are not deaf ears out there, but there are a lot of people that want to do things differently than the way you're doing it here. It's a shame. You know, I pray for you guys, and I hope God saves your souls at the end of the day, because what you're doing is wrong, and it's really not what the common people want. These are good things. Let the chamber do it. Let private enterprise finance it all. And then put money into the water pipes, fix our roads. Thanks. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Mr. Lazone Grays.
Handout. Maybe there's enough for everybody, maybe not. Wow. Good evening, Joint Economic Development Organization. Hope everyone is well. I'm going to, I think she said like new beginnings, and so I sort of go have stuff, information, and here's the Economic Development Plan for Topeka and Shawnee County, a strategic vision for the 21st century. It's your initial economic development plan for the Joint Economic Development Organization and for the sales tax for economic development. Topeka Shawnee County Comprehensive Metropolitan Plan 2025. It was passed on, signed off on, adopted on February 12th, 14th, 2002. That's a long time ago. There was also the Heartland Visioning, which was a strategic plan 2008. And I'm mentioning this because, planning has been going on. If this is the Metropolitan Plan for 2025, which ends on December 31st, I guess it's appropriate to look from 2026 on what's going to happen. The sheet that I handed out is from this book here, and it shows that, there was only two people are still in the game, are still at the table talking about the economic development, who was at the table back then. That's Councilman Dobler and actually Mr. McClure. It's right here in your document. Actually, our organization, IBSA, is in there several times as a responsible organization to take care of some of these specific goals in areas of strategy. As you can see there, from the city council, commissioners, everybody's gone, except Mr. McClure, Councilman Dobler. All the people who were sitting in a room to prepare this plan are gone. All the people who were sitting at the table to prepare and help assist in putting together your interlocal agreement to make sure that it had, the 10% in it didn't come by accident. That was some advocacy. Councilman Duffy here was able to convince him to take the lead. And so he's really the godfather of that 10% because he was willing to step out and do something what other council members were not willing to do at that time. May he rest in peace. He was a good council member. Same with Mr. Pomeroy. The same with the Heartland Visioning in 2008. Many of the people who come to the meetings at the table, they're gone. Out of all of this stuff here, I'm still here. Partially in the economic development plan, those areas where we were committed to or identified in, minority women business development, making sure that the sales tax was going to support them, and then the trade skills for the economically disadvantaged, the underserved, the hard to work. If you have a copy, which I never have a copy, every time there's a new person with Go Topeka or whomever, city manager, I always share a copy so that people can understand what was the city looking at back then, what has been accomplished, what has not been accomplished. Is the city, JEDO, going to conduct or perform another economic development plan now that this is soon to be outdated? One that is equal to all within the community? So, one of the things that I would like to do, as she had mentioned about things that they're going to do in AI, one thing that is not in this plan is two words, and that is artificial intelligence. But those are two words that turn a lot of things in here on its head. No one was talking about it back then, but it's affecting every industry and many of the occupations that are in here. Some type of a plan for
How much time would you like?
2 minutes if possible.
Pardon?
2 minutes if possible.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So, I've been working with the Microsoft Corporation and what they're doing, and we meet on a monthly basis. And one of the things, and the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, one of the things that has been pushing forward, because AI and where it is at, and people really don't understand it, they're just hearing about it, is that they're working with organizations like ours to try to press on local governments to commission an AI readiness assessment. Because you have the ability of convening the big partners in the city, medical, big companies, small companies, nonprofits. What is the needs? Who's doing what? Where's the training going to come from? If you're keeping up on top of things, you can see that AI is slashing jobs as we speak, along with robotics and automation. Who are the workforce trainers and what are they training? It's great what they are doing here. I've been talking about workforce training and development for a long time in trades and different things. I hope I can sit at the table with them to get some things that I've been trying to get off ever since this document in 2002 has been produced. I'm not really speaking and saying anything new that I haven't been speaking in 2002. It's just that all the other people are gone, and my voice is still here. And so I just wanted to share this with you, and maybe y'all will find a copy of this here, look at it. Who's going to be the ones to say, this is what we have accomplished over these 20-some-odd years? What had not worked? Where do we need to dig in and do some things? Who were the partners at the table back then who are not there now, and who needs to be at the table right now? Several of the organizations that received support and funding through the sales tax, they wasn't even existing back in 2002. Heck, some of them were probably in middle school in 2002. But I'm still here. I hope that our organization, which has been very much blessed to be supported by the Go Topeka, can continue to work with Rhiannon, in the future, and everything that they're doing with the Innovation Link. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Okay. There is no need for any executive session, and there's no further business that comes before this body. The meeting is adjourned.